Hello Libra, welcome to your January 2023 tarot card and astrology readings. Hello everybody, happy new year. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you all so much for being here. For those of you who are new, my name is Jane. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for joining with me on this wonderful new journey this year. So as always, these monthly readings are separated into two segments. So the first segment is the tarot card reading, which is much more intuitive, and the second portion is the astrology section. Now please feel free to watch these for your sun, moon, or rising sign. However, I do recommend your rising sign for the astrology portion, just so you can get a more accurate viewpoint on what your transits are actually going to be. And don't forget that if you are a member on my website, janeinternational.com, that you'll be able to log on and access the comprehensive readings as always. And if you're not a member and would like to join, you are more than welcome to do that as well. Or you're also free to just do a one-time single purchase of the comprehensive reading, just like we've always done. So let's go ahead and get into these readings for the month. Thank you again. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in just a sec. Hello Libra, welcome to your tarot card reading for January 2023. Let's go ahead and take a look here and see what comes through for you, Libra, starting with a card from my intuitive deck here. Okay. So I feel like something is about to be lit on fire. Like there's been a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of strategy, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things kind of coming together in kind of a chaotic way. Maybe it hasn't necessarily been super organized. It's just been kind of all over the place. But I actually feel like everything is starting slowly but surely to like culminate, to streamline, to come together, and it's about ready to just explode. And this is a good thing, okay? Explosion in a good way, meaning your career is about to explode, your financial situation is about to explode, or you're about to fall madly in love, or you're about to move to this incredible new place, or maybe all of the above, right? I do feel that Libra is, I'm not saying you're not going to have to work with Saturn coming in that 6th house. There is still a lot of work involved. There's going to be a lot of discipline that is going to be required, but a lot of improvements in your life. Now, when Pluto comes into Aquarius in March, Libra is definitely going to feel this incredible, obsessive desire to create. And when you're in that place, all right, when you feel an incredible desire to create, a lot of things follow. Creation is a highly magnetic force. And because of that, I think that you're kind of in preparation mode for that. So whatever it is that you are doing, I do think it's going to pop off like crazy in the upcoming year. And throughout January, you're probably going to start to see like all this hard work, all this change, all this evolution that you've really been embracing with that North Node Uranus conjunction in the 8th house, right? All this transformation, all this expansion with Mars in the 9th house since August. Like Libra is freaking ready, you know? And yeah, your life is about to change. And there is an unstoppability with it. And I think that's just so exciting. So we have strength. Okay, now it is a very, you're going to have to exhibit strength, which is good and bad. It's good because it means you'll have the strength to deal with it. And it kind of sucks because it means there are situations in which you have to be strong. You have to be strong, you have to be brave, you have to fight. You have to confront things, which I know Libra doesn't always really like to do. But you are going to have to confront things head on. You're not going to be able to just let things like fall apart. Like you have to work to keep things together. And it's going to require your time. It's going to require your energy and your focus. And there's going to be just, I'm kind of feeling like an assembly line of stuff, just continually pumping things out, but you have to keep those machines well oiled in order for that factory to stay productive. Okay, so you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of the details. You have to take care of the mundane minutia and maintain that discipline in your life. Otherwise, I feel like there's a fragility with everything where it hasn't officially popped off yet. And so it's like you got to keep everything tight. You have to keep everything operating well until that comes. So you can't get lazy. You can't lose focus. You have to stay disciplined. So with the environment, what comes out? We have the Page of Coins. Whatever it is you are building or doing, whatever new ideas have been culminating for you, I think they're going to be very well received. So I don't worry about your success, Libra. I don't worry about it at all. I don't worry that people aren't going to be interested in being involved in what you have going on. I don't worry about you getting clients or customers. I don't worry about job offers. It's all going to be there for you when it's time. It does seem like there's a lot of intricacies. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of logistics that Libra is having to deal with right now. Eventually, those things are going to feel like second nature. I think Libra has been a little bit out of their wheelhouse for a while, dealing with things that they've never really had to deal with before. They've had to probably learn new skills or develop certain skills that they probably never thought they wanted to have to learn, but you're doing it, you're integrating it, you're executing on it. And I think you'll be glad that you did. You'll be glad that you made these changes because they are all culminating and adding up to something that is destined for you. I like the fluidity. I like the really nice balance. Okay, Libra, scales of justice, right? The balance between fluidity and acceptance and receptivity and the structure and discipline that Libra is exhibiting right now. Okay, so what else for Libra? What else does Libra need to know? We have the Knight of Swords. We have the Eight of Swords. And we have the Knight of Cups reversed. All right, so this really is all stemming from the fact that Libra is tired of being trapped. And I think even to a degree with the Knight of Cups reversed, it's like Libra also is really tired of pretending like something doesn't exist. Like maybe there has been something that they've been in denial about, that they've kind of kept their rose-colored glasses on. Like they keep telling themselves, I've moved on, it's in the past, it's not affecting me, it's okay, I've forgiven them, I've forgiven myself. But yet still, it's like it was still there. It still had its hooks in you. And this is now a time where I feel like, actually, it's interesting that these cards seem to be moving in like toward the left, where in like our Western culture, right, we read from left to right. So we kind of often see past, present, and future, left to right, but this is going the opposite direction. So I feel like your freedom is really found in your past. That the way that you are able to break out of this mental imprisonment is through your past. So Libra, with the activation of Capricorn in the 4th house, is doing a pretty deep dive. Now, I don't think this is like dark night of the soul, emotional healing, it could be, but I think you're more empowered right now. This is not about being weepy or overly emotional. Like this is very out of Libra's wheelhouse in terms of the confrontational ability. And maybe this has a lot to do with Mars in the 9th house. Maybe this has to do with Jupiter and Aries in the 7th. Like you're really tapping into this expansive Mars quality where you're like, I am going to do whatever it takes to overcome this. And I'm not going to let this have control over me. I'm not going to let it have power over me. I'm not going to let it keep me afraid. Because I've been pretending for far too long that something was okay. Or I told myself that I didn't want something because I felt that if I went after it, that it was wrong or bad or whatever the case was. So I just told myself I didn't want it. But actually, I've always wanted it, and I've always rejected it, meaning I was always rejecting a certain aspect of myself. And because of that, I am tired. Because of that, I've hit a wall. Because of that, I am fed up, and I have drawn a line with myself, given myself an ultimatum almost, and say, I have to get out of this mental prison. I cannot let these thoughts and these pains and these wounds and these memories impact my future ever again. So there's a warrior inside of Libra right now coming out. Now, you may not necessarily be feeling this in such a empowered, it is empowered, but it may not necessarily be manifesting as like this waking up aggressively, I'm going to attack the day kind of way. You may still just be kind of operating in a beautiful Venusian kind of way. But when something comes up that needs your attention, you're going to be like freaking on it. And hopefully you can be. If you're not, this is a time to consciously ask yourself, well, what am I avoiding here? What am I avoiding? What am I running away from? What is it that I am trying to stay optimistic about, but really I'm just realizing that optimism is just hurting me at this point because it's not real. The sun, the moon reversed, and we have the Ace of Coins. Okay, so I'm loving the coins with the Page of Coins over here. This is what I mean. People they love what you're doing. They love, and maybe this is actually a big motivator for you. It's like, I don't want to be lost in my sea of Eight of Swords, to be trapped and suffocating in my own thoughts, because I actually see that people want to give me. They want to be a part of what I have. They want to do business with me. They want to interact with me. They want to give to me. And I don't want to be in a position where I feel like I have to reject this. And maybe with that South Node in the second house, Libra, maybe you are dealing with some fear around your sense of self-value, your sense of self-worth. Maybe you are dealing with money stuff, right? Maybe you are dealing with your relationship with food or your own survival or your possessions. If you are someone who rejects those things, or you tend to live a more minimalist lifestyle, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but if you're doing that as a reaction to a trauma, then maybe that is what is needing to be addressed. And this person is trying to give you something that actually you really want, but maybe you've been telling yourself, it's not how I want to live, it's not what I really value, but it actually is. And here's another Ace of Coins. So you're getting it from multiple angles here. It's trying to come into you. And I think the reason these things are trying to come into you is because it's time for this to be broken. This feels like a spell to me. Like you've had a spell cast over you. And maybe you've done it to yourself. Maybe it was other people doing it to you. And I don't mean that you have some person out there with a what are they called? A puppet, it's not like that, nothing like that, but it's a mental spell, or a mental program, I guess, if we want to be more new age about it, that has been harmful. It has been harmful. And yes, with the moon in the reversal, there is most certainly an element of the past. There is most certainly an element of something hidden deeply within your subconscious. And with the sun, this sun is so bright and so powerful that it is absolutely going to come and illuminate the very thing that has been causing this Eight of Swords, this trapped, suffocated feeling. It is going to require you to do things that you never thought you could do, or things that you never thought you were worthy of doing. And I've been saying for a few months now that it is time for Libra to step into the spotlight. And with Pluto in that 5th house, the desire for that spotlight is going to be strong over the next 20 years. It's almost as though that's going to be the demand that you place on the world. Like, world, pay attention to me, right? Now, there can still be a hidden element with Pluto, so there's a big difference between what you show the world and maybe your private life, but that's fine. But I think you really do want the world to see you and to acknowledge you and to value you and to want to be a part of you. Okay, what else? What else for Libra? Another coin. See what I mean? All these coins trying to come to you. It's like the more and more you push it away right now, if you get this and you push it away, the universe is just going to give you this. And if you push it away, the universe is just going to give you this. It's the same thing, just in different forms from different people. The universe is like, just take it, Libra. Take the opportunity, take the money, take the compliments, take the ideas, take the guidance, take the advice, just freaking take it. Right? This is a signification that your guides are desperately trying to get a hold of you. You might be up here in this mess right here, trying to figure this out, but the answer to this is found in this. It's found in the gifts. It's found in the increase. It is found in that which is being delivered to you, literally falling in your lap. There is no reason for Libra to be afraid. Okay? Look, let's say you're trying to make more money. There is no reason you should be afraid to ask for more money. Like if you're trying to get a job, if you own a business, charge more money. Start a new business, whatever the case is. I feel like that death card definitely wanted to come out. Then we had the devil at the bottom of the deck. He kind of wanted to come out too. I'll kind of lay him over here. But like this, this is kind of a reinforcement of the Eight of Swords. It's gotten to be so distracting. It's gotten to be too much. And the universe is trying to help you get out, but you think that the way to get out is one way, when in fact, the way to get out is to finally accept the very thing that you have been rejecting for a very long time. If you have been rejecting romantic partnerships, right, because they didn't meet your criteria, or this was the problem, or this was the thing, chances are the universe is trying to give you someone special. They're trying to give you someone truly meaningful and amazing, and you just may have been in like a fog or a funk. You wanted, like also the money thing, which I said, the way out of your financial situation is to make more money, right? It's to ask for more money and to overcome that fear instead of justifying it away of like, oh no, I don't know that I'm ready for that, or I don't think people are going to pay for this, or You're just like killing yourself, and your guides, your higher self, spirit is just like, oh my gosh, really? Come on. I'm trying to help you here. I'm trying to give you a leg up here. And that's the thing. High Priestess, you always know. And that's when it gets even harder. Like when you know, but you won't admit that you know. I remember a couple years ago, I think it was 2019, I was in Barbados at the time, and I think it was the Scorpio reading, and I'll never forget that reading because it actually affected me. Well, I'm a Scorpio moon, so maybe it was a message for me, but it always kind of creeps up in these readings once in a while, and the message was that, like, and you know. It's just a matter of whether or not you're going to admit that you know it, right? Sometimes, like, why do we do that? Why do we fight so hard against the things that we know to be true? Why do we try to wear these rose-colored glasses with something and try to get away with something? Don't we know by now, especially you, Libra? I feel like Libra gets their karma dealt to them very quickly. So you can't really let things drag on, because as the actual scales themselves, you are responsible for establishing order throughout the entire zodiac. And so when it comes to you, you have to be in order. So if you have something go way askew, it actually rectifies very quickly. And so if you start fighting against something that you know to be true, it's going to turn south and go sour very quickly. And I think this is one of those moments where you need to admit to yourself what's deep down going on in there and what you know to be true. And it's time to let it go, death. It's time to truly eliminate that from the dark corners of your inner psyche. It's hard to hide it when the sun is right next to it. It's like someone coming into an old abandoned warehouse where people haven't been in 450 years. Well, I say warehouse, but a really old abandoned building where no one's touched ground in 450 years. They've got their flashlight in there and they're shining their flashlight in all the corners. Everything is going to get illuminated. Everything's going to get illuminated. Nothing, you can't hide from that flashlight. It's literally going in and shining light on everything. So this is just a time of freedom for you, Libra. Jupiter in the 7th house, it opposes you. Mars in the 9th house. Uranus North Node conjunction in the 8th house. We change, we find freedom, we expand, we want more for ourselves, and we evolve. Okay? So let's pull out the clarifiers. So for those of you who are new here, the cards I'm about to pull out are the cards we'll cover in the comprehensive reading. The link for that will be in the description box and comment thread down below. We usually talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all these cards. So it's kind of like a whole second reading. We go pretty in depth with these. Additionally, there are different ways to access those. So just make sure that you read all the descriptions so you select the right option that's best for you. Okay? All right, Libra, what else do you need to know for January 2023? Libra, January 2023, 3 of Cups, beautiful. And we have the 4 of Swords. Okay. For the environment, we have the 6 of Coins, the Empress, and we have Page of Cups. I like the pages because they're at least subtle. Okay. We have the Knight, or they're at least non-threatening is probably a better word. Knight of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune reversed. 9 of Wands. And we have the 7 of Cups reversed. Beautiful Magician on top of that 8 of Swords. There's the empowerment. It's the that spark. King of Cups. See exactly those rose-colored glasses. This is the time where the rose-colored glasses come to die. Thank goodness. Capricorn season, another 8 of Swords. Those rose-colored glasses have been the very thing that have kept you trapped. Devil. Okay. Yeah. See, I had a feeling about that Knight of Cups. He was not giving me a good vibe at all. Okay. The Sun. What else for the Sun? We have 5 of Coins. Sun shining that light on those dark corners there. We have the 5 of Cups. Like, honestly, Libra, you cannot escape. You cannot escape 4 of Cups. The Libras that are fighting it, another Knight of Swords, the Libras that are fighting it, they are going to have a bit of a struggle. 7 of Swords and the Queen of Wands. We have Strength reversed, the 8 of Cups reversed. Six of Wands, and that's you overcoming the rejection, the kind of pushing away of these coins trying to come into your life. 4 of Swords, Emperor reversed. Another, well, not another, but a card with the scales, the 6 of Coins, balanced scales. Oh, we love the Chariot, and here's a positive Knight of Cups, which I don't mind. There's the Justice, had a feeling, and Ace of Cups, beautiful. And the Star. Okay, so this is where we're going to pick up, Libra, okay? I love you. I hope you have an amazing January. Again, all the info is down below. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, Libra. Welcome to your astrology reading for January 2023. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Now, obviously, January, beginning of January, we are well on our way into Capricorn season. I think Capricorn, wherever it is in our charts, whether you have Capricorn placements or not, it's just getting very worn down, right? Like Capricorn got hit so hard with the Saturn transit through 2018, 19, and 20, and it got the South Node was going through there with Jupiter, with Pluto, and there was just like a whole giant mess, right? Eclipses with the nodes, right? It was just a whole giant mess of stuff. And so, and Pluto finishing out his transit this year, you know, there's just kind of like this, like, okay, enough already. And I think with this 4th house stuff, Libra is getting very worn down in regards to like being in their private world. And this is one of the reasons why I do feel that Libra is on this precipice of like stepping into this massive spotlight as Pluto makes its way into the 5th house. Okay, that's been kind of a message for the past couple of months, and I stand by it. And I think because it's that contrast between the 4th house and eventually the 5th house. Now, that's not happening in January. I'm just mentally preparing you. So the pendulum has swung a little too far in that 4th house direction. And then the 5th house is going to be the reaction to that. And so all of these years that Libra has spent in their private world, focusing on their home environment, focusing on, you know, their home and their family. And I'm not saying you haven't also focused on your careers. I'm not saying you also haven't gone out and fallen in love or been with your friends or whatever the case. It's just that that home environment was so critical for Libra. And maybe there was a lot of difficulty with Pluto coming through and actually establishing that in some way, shape, or form. But wherever you are, now it is time, and I think you can feel it. And so with this Capricorn energy, we have this one last Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, and it's just like, it's the last thing. Because Venus is moving out. Here's Venus right here. She's moving into Aquarius on January 2nd. So right out of the gate, she's out of there, okay? Mercury is going to be stationing direct on the 18th of January. So as we make our way through the end of January and on in through February, then Mercury is going to be moving into Aquarius as well. And the Sun is going to be moving out of Capricorn and on into Aquarius on the 20th. So slowly but surely, all these planets are going to be clearing out of Capricorn. And then March, Pluto goes, and he'll do a little retrograde back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn. But like, we are clearing out that 4th house. And so this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn right now is really affording you that opportunity. And because this is actually happening in a trine, which is a harmonious and really positive aspect with this Uranus North Node conjunction here, because this is happening in aspect with these, this is a time for you to just like really, I don't want to say radicalize because I think that's a little extreme, but like to really take care of all the final things. So whatever is outstanding, whatever is left, like if you really haven't found a place that you want to call your home, I'm not saying you have to go buy a giant home, but like, are you in the right city? Are you in the right apartment? Are you in the right neighborhood? Are you in the right area? Like whatever the case is, ask yourself, like, are you really in the right place? Because if not, this is a great time for you to really start asking yourself where you want to be. And I'm not saying you have to stay there forever. Probably you won't. But for your next endeavor, for your next adventure, for your next 20 years, where do you want to be? And doing whatever you need to. And you'll have more of 23 and on into 24 as well. Because again, remember, Pluto comes into Aquarius, yay, but then it comes back into Capricorn. So it's going to dip and kind of do a couple things against that 29th degree of Capricorn, which is lovely. But that's going to really show you or show you a way out of something if you really aren't wanting to be there, especially with your home environment and where you're living. And if there's any issues in your home, like if you're in a abusive relationship, like you're going to have an out somewhere along the way. And so slowly but surely, this fourth house is getting cleared out, but it's still like, we can't seem to ever get away from that Capricorn energy right now because Pluto's in there and intensifies everything. So we just have this, it's important for us to really think ahead. It's important for us to think about where we want to be so we can start making the best decisions. And for Libra, I know that this Saturn through the Aquarius sign since really the end of 2020, officially since the end of 2020, it has been a little hard in the creative department. Probably Libra, there's been a lot of things that you've been wanting to do. And it's not that you haven't been doing them, it's just that it probably took a whole heck of a lot longer than you thought. Or it all got stretched out, or it was just there were a few too many hurdles or a few too many obstacles or something. Whatever the case was, with Venus coming in here and eventually the sun comes in here as well, I think your creative department is getting a little bit of a notch up. It's getting a little bit of a boost. And as that creative department boosts up, we are preparing for Saturn to transition into the 6th as well. There's a lot of preparation happening in January. I'm calling it the month of like things turning around, okay? Because we've got Mars, we've got Uranus, we've got Mercury going retrograde. But by the end of January, they are all moving direct, meaning every planet is moving direct, which means there's really nothing in the way. Okay, there's really nothing in the way. And the things that we want to do, the things we want to go after, want us to go after them. So the goals and the dreams and the creative projects and all the wonderful things that we've been mulling around in our mind for years and years, it's time to finally implement. It's time to finally put the pedal to the metal, right? Push down that gas pedal and really just go for it. There really isn't anything holding you back. And actually this Mars, and I know Libra has been feeling it with this Mars retrograde in the 9th house. Every Libra I talk to has been like, I got to get out of here. And it could be for good reasons and it could be for bad reasons. I don't really care what the reasons are, but wherever you are, you have to get out of there. Because that's what the 9th house really demands. And the 8th house kind of does too as well with this North Node Uranus conjunction. It demands kind of this shedding of the skin, right? At a certain point, your little comfort zone, which is indicated with Taurus, this is why 2022 was such a weird freaking year. Because we knew, North Node and Taurus, we were in this comfort zone and that we had to get out. Now, this is going to continue until the summer of next year. So I'm not saying it all has to happen in January, but we're starting to feel like that. Like, okay, we really, really need to do the things now. And Mars in the ninth house is just dying for expansion. And a lot of Libras have really kind of taken their spiritual practice really, really far. And you've taken your consciousness really far, and you've stretched beyond so many limits with your mind, and you've learned a ton of things, right? A lot of education comes in through this ninth house. And when it starts moving direct, it's going to really want to start playing with it and experimenting with it. That's Gemini, loves to experiment, and it wants to, I don't know, it just really wants to fly. And I think Libra wants to fly because this fourth house, as lovely as the fourth house can be, it's very dense. It's just really dense. It's Capricorn, it's Saturn ruled, it's got Pluto in there, and it's like enough already. So Libra feels more than ready, I think. More than ready to fall in love with Jupiter now officially in Aries. Wherever you are romantically, if you're single or if you've been married for 20 years, I don't really care. Jupiter is going to want more. He's going to want to take the relationship to the next level, or it's going to want to go out and fall in love. And it's going to want to take that relationship and do really cool things with it. It's going to want to travel and learn new things together and go to all corners of the earth and heart and mind. And this can be so positive and so healthy for your relationship with relationships. Chiron coming into the seventh house is it's no easy thing. Chiron can be, I don't know, it's a very contemplative asteroid. It is about wound and pain and trauma. But he really wakes us up as to why we are the way we are, why we do the things we do, why we need the things we need, right? And it's all rooted back in childhood stuff, And so Libra has been doing a ton of relationship healing that could be done in a relationship. And it can also be done completely single, and it can also be done like dating random people. Probably, I don't know how sexual Libra is feeling with Saturn in the fifth. I mean, if you are having a sexual relationship, it's probably a more meaningful one. I don't know that Libra is very interested in casual stuff with Saturn in the fifth, but that's going to depend on who you are. But either way, wherever you are on the spectrum, Chiron has taught you some stuff for sure. And he has asked you to go very deep, and he has asked you to go into places that probably you never really wanted to go. But as Jupiter comes over Chiron, there can be a magnification of this, and this can be a good or a bad thing. It can be great because it can mean that you finally are in a place where you're going to be healing with things, but it can also be kind of tough because it can be a more pronounced exposure of the wound as well. But either way, it's good for you, right? Either way, it makes us more whole and more complete. And coupled with this Mars in the ninth house, who always wants to know more and wants to see things from new and higher perspectives, we're definitely getting that in the realm of relationships. And I think that's certainly important as we make our way out of this fourth house energy. Fourth house can be really internalized. It is a house of healing. There is a lot of privacy in this house. And if you've been pulling away, Libra, if you've been staying away from the world or cutting out the world or only operating in this teeny tiny comfort zone, that is about to change. There is no doubt about it. That's about to change for Libra over the course of the next couple of years. Not fast. It's not like an overnight thing, but it is part of this turnaround energy that is January 2023. We have Uranus in North Node, right? Uranus is now officially moving direct. So this, what I've been calling a portal, right? This chunk of time with the Uranus North Node conjunction is coming to an end. And when Uranus starts moving, North Node, Uranus start to separate, and getting out of this comfort zone, it's going to feel a little bit easier, I think. I think the challenge has been like actually doing it or getting our mind on board with it. But once we do it, once we pull the trigger, once we sign the dotted line, like we're golden. And I think a lot of abundance and a lot of wealth and a lot of opportunity is going to come from outside the comfort zone for basically everybody right now, but especially Libra, because this is happening in your 8th house, which is all about change and transformation. Okay. And there's a lot going on here with shared resources and those with whom, you have to financially work with together. And there could also be really great things that happen if you take on an investor or if you do get married and merge assets, right? All of those things are opportunities for accelerated growth. The last thing I want to talk about is this full moon, which is happening in Cancer, which is in your 10th house. I love this full moon. I really, really do. This full moon is the first full moon since really June, if I'm being totally honest with you. Since June, the full moon in Gemini. It's not hitting up against a massive planet or asteroid, okay? Because since July, it was conjunct Pluto, and then in August it was conjunct Saturn, and then it was Neptune, and then it was Chiron, and then it was Uranus with the big eclipse, and then it was Mars, and now it is in Cancer, free and clear. It is big and full and potent, and the only real, really tight aspect that she's in is this sextile with Uranus. Okay, it's happening at 16 degrees of Cancer, so this is at 15 degrees. So there's a beautiful aspect going on here. We have the liberation and freedom and chaos and revolution component of Uranus aspecting a moon in rulership in her domicile, Cancer, which is all about safety and security. And in your 10th house, this does have a lot to do with your career. So the career moves, the professional moves that you are hoping to make, the big ones that you're hoping to make, that you're hoping will succeed, chances are they will. Okay, chances are they will, because this full moon is really shedding a lot of light on the growth that needs to happen in this 10th house now, because the 4th house was so much growth. Okay, I like the 4th house because it does offer a lot of stability for everything else, but it does reach a point where it's like, how much stability do you really need? I think you have enough. I think you have enough stability in your private world inside. You have done enough healing. Okay, you've done enough growth, whatever the case is. You've done enough so that, I'm not saying it's done, okay, but you've done enough so that other areas of your life can start to really thrive. And you deserve that. You definitely deserve to have the areas of your life thrive, especially if you are genuinely trying to do the work. Okay? This is a beautiful full moon. I've been telling everyone, I don't normally do moon ceremonies, specifically not full moon. I'm more of a new moon person. But I probably will do something this full moon on my own, because I think it's that important of a moon, okay? To really release. You're free to release the past. You're free to let it go. And I know you can't just do it like that, because sometimes the momentum of the past gets a little strong and everything kind of builds and collects. And sometimes you still have to deal with the fallout and the consequences of past decision. And that's fine. But I think it's like the emotional baggage or the emotional heaviness from the past that can be truly released. Remember, and I've repeated myself an annoyingly amount of times, that this full moon back in July, which was Cancer season, which was conjunct Pluto, I said it over and over, it was a point of no return. And if you really think back to who you were this summer and where you are right now, chances are you're standing in a completely different pair of shoes. And there is no going back. There just isn't. You're not going to date those kinds of people anymore. You're not going to go back to that same person. You're not going to work at that kind of a job anymore. You're not going to do this for that amount of money anymore. You're not going to, it's like a whole long list of all the things you're not going to do anymore because you've already done it and you already know it doesn't work. So there's a lot of hope throughout January. Now, when Saturn comes into Pisces later on in March, that may shift. So this hope, I think, really needs to like be harnessed and grasped and taken advantage of as much as you possibly can. Because I don't know how long-lived it's actually going to be. Now, hope is always a choice. Optimism is always a choice. You can choose to perceive things, but I don't know. This Saturn in Pisces transit it's a tricky one for sure. And it's not the most, it's just not the most positive. So we need to like really leverage what's going on right now so that we can carry on forward. So while everything is going on in the world this spring and on into summer, we can still keep our blinders on, stay super focused on what we're wanting to do. Okay? All right, Libra, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. Have an amazing January, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.